Dune Awakening's most recent community signal just dropped, and a brand new trailer for the game. A whole bunch of exciting game questions have been answered as well, so let's dive straight into the news. So today we got Exploring Arrakis: Secrets of the Desert, a new video that goes over some Dune Awakening facts, such as the Deep Desert, which is Dune's end game. So let's watch it together, and I'll talk about the points as we go along.
Welcome to Arrakis, the most dangerous planet in the universe. Dune Awakening is a multiplayer survival game on a massive scale, where the open, ever-changing world ensures exploration remains a vital activity. Join us as we traverse the breathtaking landscapes and uncover what the sands have hidden.
Just to pause it here, exploration is going to be a big thing on Dune, and if I can say anything about exploration as an aspect in previous games, I really enjoyed exploring on Conan Exiles. There was plenty of secrets, camps, and places of interest to loot. I feel like Funcom do exploration really well with their games, so I think we'll be in for a wonderful time on Dune. Let's continue.
Follow in the footsteps of the native Fremen and learn to overcome the deadly environment. Collect materials to craft a shelter, still suit, and your first vehicle, then venture into the desert. With a scanning module installed, you can scan for resources in smaller areas, or climb the highest peaks to launch a survey probe, revealing large swaths of terrain and important locations like shipwrecks or abandoned Imperial testing stations. Traverse difficult terrain with tools like the Shigawire Claw and Suspensor Belt, and claim powerful tech and gear. Expand your fleet of vehicles and upgrade them with new modules to suit your playstyle.
I love that base.
From the cockpit of the iconic Ornithopter, even the most remote expanses of Arrakis are within your reach.
Wow, vehicles! Going into vehicles a bit, vehicles are one of the things I'm most excited for when it comes to Dune. There's going to be a lot of customization with the vehicles provided in the game as you build your traveling machines from scratch. You can see this in a bit as we go over the carrier ornithopters from the community signal post. But basically you can put different modules on your vehicle, like the scanner on the sandbike they just shown off just now. There are several vehicles in the game as well as different subcategories, such as the ornithopter. We've seen smaller ones and big carrier ones, sandbikes, trucks, tanks, and what looks like a spice collecting vehicle.
In the deep desert, massive Coriolis storms regularly sweep across the land with monstrous power, changing the entire map every week. As new resources and secrets are revealed, the race to survey the vast new landscape begins anew. Be the first to mark the location of precious resources, and give the map to your allies, or sell it to other players on the exchange. Here, there are no paths to tread, only power to claim. This is infinite exploration. This is Arrakis.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And that is the trailer we get and the brand new information. I gotta say, the voicing's a little weird for me. I don't know if you guys are getting the vibe for me, but is it like an AI speaking to us about this? I'm sorry, the voice acting does sound a little AI. I'm getting like thrown off a bit. Hello. Anyways, sorry voice actor if you are a voice actor. I love the emphasis on infinite exploration. It certainly is an interesting concept. I am wondering how they're exactly going to be presenting this though. I know it's really hard for survival games as a genre to stay evergreen. A lot of survival games, you play through the paces and the progression, and eventually you'll find that end point. After that, you'll put the game down and maybe play on it in the next big update. I see this as a positive thing, as it's hard to pull off something that stays evergreen in survival without the need to constantly add new things to it. And on those big updates, it creates waves as you've got something big and awesome to add. People are going to want to come back and check it out after a good break, so I do wonder how they're going to keep it fresh. For context on their point of the Coriolis storm wiping the map every week, you don't need to worry about it wiping your progress on the main map. This is purely a point for the deep desert itself, which is a separate PvP focused map, where you'll do battle with other players over big spice blows, just like how you would be on Arrakis competing for the spice, which is your most valuable resource. Speaking of resources, they did mention in this trailer finding new resources and points of interest in the deep desert and selling these things on the exchange, which is essentially like a player shop in the community hubs. They've talked briefly about it on other videos, but haven't gone loads in depth about it. This could create some really interesting competition, but I don't feel like I am much of a fan of the concept myself, as it feels quite competitive and almost gives me Last Oasis vibes when I remember big circles of people basically just wiping out the servers. I do feel like you'd need to be in a good established guild to make the most of it, or be a very proactive group of players with a lot of time on your hands when these storms drop and wipe the map. I am interested to see how people play around with it, though. I imagine the competition between guilds could be something really exciting to watch. It'll probably be one of those systems I jump on and have a couple of jolly sessions with a big group of friends, then carry on with the normal fun of Dune in a more casual space, as be the life as someone juggling multiple jobs and interests. I don't have mountains of time to dedicate on big sessions, which I feel is something that can be required in a survival PvP space, especially if someone's popping off or somebody is raiding your own guild group, like a base raid or something. Hopefully there are some other exciting activities to do for the end game that require less immediate time investment, which is a bit more regular player friendly. The community signal is a newsletter Dune released now and again. Massive thank you to Funcom for sharing one of my videos on the 5th iteration, by the way. Today we are looking at community signal number 6. So if you haven't heard the good news yet, number 1, what rock are you hiding under? And number 2, can I have some recommendations, as it sounds like a nice place? Jokes aside, Dune Awakening is coming out May 20th, 2025 in a couple of months' time. How exciting! So the next few weeks are going to be filled with news and things to share. So smash that subscribe button and ding-a-ling-ling that little bell for the notifications to stay up to date on the Dune space. The game's going to be coming out for the grand price of $49.99. This stays consistent in euros as well by the looks, with it being €49.99, which is new information there for my European friends. No price yet for the other regions, so sit tight. Let's move on to the extremely juicy part of the newsletter, and that's the highlights. You heard me earlier going over vehicles, so check this out. As you progress into the deserts of Arrakis, you'll unlock a variety of vehicles to help with your survival and control over spice. You may even find yourself building a garage to house your rides for both the land and sky. One of these will be strong and bulky carrier ornithopters. While the light ornithopters are built for speed and scouting, these are made for transporting you and your allies to places of interest. Once you hear the boom and see the sky turn purple from a spice blow, it's all hands on deck. Use the carrier ornithopter to quickly transport a sandcrawler to the spice, This makes harvesting easier as one of your allies can pilot the sand crawler even as you drop it onto the sand. It's not just limited to sand crawlers though. Carrier ornithopters can move ground cars and even other ornithopters, so moving as a group is much more convenient. So that spice collecting machine I was talking about is called the sand crawler, and it will be essential to have one of these big bulky boys to carry your sand crawler to the spice with speed. As I'd imagine, you'd want to be quick getting there due to you competing with others to get some of that glorious purple smoke. We get to look at the concept art for the transport Orni, which you can see over here. This thing looks huge, by the way. And it's awesome to see all the components into what it takes to make one of these stallions of the sky world. In the second image, you can see it carrying the sand crawler into the spice regions and it having pulleys to lift down the car. I wonder if you'll need multiple people flying this thing, or if you just need two, one for the Orni and one for the sand crawler. It does sound like an absolutely massive thing to manage on your own. In the third image, you can see the parts in more detail, so all the separate colors are going to be the parts you'll need to weld together to make the aircraft. The yellow slots are where your modules will go to customize up your craft. So yeah, honestly, it looks insane. Love how much thought has been given into these vehicles. It's why it's one of the most exciting things to me when it comes to Dune Awakening when that comes out. On to community creations, Dead Women Walking and Flaming Mojo, two awesome content creators, by the way, in the Dune Awakening space. Did an interview with the community manager of Funcom, which is Ignazi. All very lovely people, by the way. Absolutely go and check them out, and that podcast itself. These folks really know what they're talking about and can offer some really interesting insights and information about the game. We have some epic Dune fan art. I absolutely love art, so I love to see it. And we move on to the official Q&A. By the way, quick note, I did a Q&A myself on my channel from a perspective as someone who's been following the Dune news and articles for a long time now, at least a couple of years, as I've been checking out all the game state and progress as long as I can remember now. If you'd like to check that out, click the card in the top right or in my end cards of the video. I go over some really important information about private servers, single player and more. Okay, so questions from the Q&A, let's go. How does ammunition work? Do different classes of weapons have specific ammo, like pistol ammo for pistols, shotgun shells for scattering guns, etc.? Different types of weapons require different ammo, so some dart-based guns require light darts or heavier darts based on the type of weapon. For example, a heavy pistol type weapon uses heavy darts, while a scattergun uses light darts. On top of that, you also have flamethrowers, las guns, and rocket launchers, which will all require different ammunition. Each will require you to manage your ammo levels, but you're not locked out of using any type of gun. There is no class requirements on using the different types of guns. Are there any plans for other factions to be involved on Arrakis? At launch, you'll be able to pledge your support to Atreides or the Harkonnen houses, which will each have their own path and rewards. As this is the Dune universe, you will have interactions with those in other factions. For example, Chom oversees all official commerce on Arrakis, so you'll interact with them at the exchange. The Emperor levies the spice tax on Arrakis, which you'll have to pay when your base meets certain requirements, and so on. We have a lot of plans for future updates. For now, this is what we can confirm. So, other houses are not off the table, but maybe something coming later in the game. But for now, there is only two, and the kind of economy base from Chom, so that's like your Emperor and your money, but I don't feel like you'd see them as like a presence as such on the game themselves. Is there anything we can do at our bases other than craft and convert blood to water? Having a base in Dune Awakening Awakening is extremely important to say the least. Yes, crafting and converting collected blood into water is a large chunk of why it is. But your entire production and resource processing is at your base. From water collection to creating ingots and weapons and armor to repairing and recycling. Additionally, you could share access to your base with others, making it a common place for your friends and guildmates to hang out. And of course, as something you'll be operating out of, making a garage for vehicle storage is a must-have. Leaving your ground cars or ornithopters outside is risky as you're exposing them to harsh elements of Arrakis. The last thing you want is losing your ornithopter you worked hard on to the sandstorm. Is there any way to shoot rockets or guns out of the ornithopter? Ornithopters have several optional modules you can craft and place onto them, one of them being rockets. This will help when you're dealing with other ornithopters in the sky or sound crawlers trying to steal spice in the deep desert. As with other weapons, ammo levels must be managed, so make sure your ornithopter is fully loaded and armed before heading into combat. Can modules, ornithopter wings, sandbike seat, etc. be sold on the market, or just components and raw materials, armor pieces, weapons, ores, etc.? Yes, modules and other completed items can be sold at the exchange, whether you're looking to make some extra Solari by selling the parts, or you're in the market for a new set of ornithopter parts. The exchange is where you'll want to go. It's also a good place to go and buy and sell unique modules and schematics. How easy will it be for me to move my base? Can more than one be active, or how can I avoid losing any resources during the transfer? When building a base, the first step will be placing a sub-fief. This is essentially the core of your home, as it sets the base boundaries of where you can build, as well as it protects you from the elements outside. If removed, you will lose control over the entire base. As you progress in the game, you'll be able to build up to 3 sub-fiefs. This will make moving so much easier. Just place another sub-fief in a new area you want to build in, and start moving your items. Tearing down your old base is made much easier as building refunds are 100%, which is honestly really good, I'm not gonna lie. So all resources used to create your walls, ceilings, refineries, and so on are given back to your build so you can make your new home. The only exception to this rule is the sub-fief, where you'll receive 50% of resources back when deconstructing it, which is a bit of a strange one unless you need some really unique stuff to make sub-fiefs or something like that. I don't know why that is a thing. Oh well. And that's all their Q&A for now, which is an interesting insight on some questions being answered officially by the developers. Either way, thanks for watching this video here today. If you enjoyed it, smash a like on it and let me know in the comments down below what you're most excited for when it comes to the game. Thank you for watching, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!